Welcome back to the Florida Rum Explorer. I'm Brian, and today we're going to talk about a very old rum cocktail drink. Actually, it's a punch recipe that comes back, from probably the 19th century, maybe even a little earlier than that. It's Planter's Punch. If you've never had Planter's Punch, it's what I think probably one of the foundational cocktails that probably laid the ground for a lot of the work that Don Beach, Vic Bergen are on, and all the other great cocktail concoctors came up with afterwards. It's a very old one, but like I said, when I was researching this, it kind of occurred to me that I don't think I've ever had a rum punch tastes the same in different establishments. Everywhere I've gone, they always seem to be a little different. So I started looking, recipes. I've got books here. I've got more books in my library, and every single one of them, the recipe is different. They all have a Planter's Punch recipe, but they're all different. They all have different spices. They all have different blended juices. A lot use pineapple, which I like pineapple juice, but I kind of think it's cheating a little bit. I think it makes the drink a little one note, and I tend to not use it because I know somebody who's very allergic to pineapple, so I try not to use it. But like I said, looking at these recipes, all a little different. So I kind of figured out, well, what the heck, what's going on here? Turns out that really, a Planter's Punch is a basic proportion of ingredients. Again, it goes back to the plantation era, and the first written recipe for a rum punch comes from, and I'll read it to you here, comes from a 1878 magazine in London called Fun magazine, and it was written in sort of a limerick or a rhyme, and it goes simply, Planter's Punch, a West Indian recipe. So it says, a wine glass with lemon juice fill, of sugar the same glass fill twice. Then rub together until the mixture looks smooth, soft, and nice. Of rum then 3 glasses add, and 4 of cold water please take. A drink you'll have that's not so bad, at least so they say in Jamaica. So that's the recipe. That's the recipe for Planter's Punch. So what it boils down to, if you listen to the limerick and the ingredients, it's a ratio of 1, 2, 3, 4. So it boils down to 1 of sour, 2 of sweet, 3 of strong, and 4 of weak. And there's a final line that goes to it, which says, and add a pinch of spice to make it nice. So 1 of sour, 2 of sweet, 3 of strong, 4 of weak, add a pinch of spice to make it nice. So that's the recipe for a rum punch. So you can take that basic ratio, and you can add whatever you want to as long as you follow it. And also at the last part there with the 4 of weak, that means anything like water, other types of juices, something that you could even do tea. I know some old East Indian trading company recipes for punches use tea for the week. And even some of the regimental punches that were all enraged in the 19th century throughout the different military organizations all use tea as the week. But anyway, so what we're going to do is we're going to make my version of the Planter's Punch, or simply the rum punch. And I'm going to take my shaker here. And what I'm going to do is, for the sour, I'm going to add 1 ounce. Now this is going to be a strong drink. Whoops, this is going to be a strong drink. But I like it. It works out really well. And like I said, I think it's the foundation, or the ratio is the foundation for a lot of the drinks that came after. So 1 ounce. That's 1 ounce of lime juice. And then for the sweet, remember we're going to do 2 ounces now because it's a 1, 2, 3, 4 ratio. I'm going to take cinnamon syrup. I love this stuff. And if you don't remember how to make cinnamon syrup, we did it in one of the earlier episodes. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put the recipe or the instructions to make cinnamon syrup in the description on the video when I post it. But I'm going to take 1.5 ounces of cinnamon syrup. Add that. And then 1/2 ounce of plain old simple syrup. say half an ounce, right? Oops, spilling all over the place again. You're not making a cocktail unless you spill, right? All right, so half an ounce of simple syrup. So if you're doing the math, 1.5 of cinnamon syrup, half an ounce of regular simple syrup, that's 2 ounces. So we've got our 1 of sour, our 2 of sweet in there now. Now here's where it makes it strong. Now we're going to do 3 ounces of rum. A lot of recipes will call for Myers rum. In fact, Myers, I believe, even came up with a blend that was specifically made for rum punch. But I think, I mean, it certainly makes a fine drink, but I think it just comes out looking a little too dark visually. So I'm going to use this very lovely Appleton Estate 12-year-old rare cask rum from Jamaica. You really should use a Jamaican rum for this. I mean, any rum will work, but if you want to be more authentic, Jamaican rum is the way to go. So 1, 2, and 3. So that leaves us now with the 4 of week. And the way I look at it, and a lot of other recipes I've seen out there, including the International Bartenders Association's recipe for it, all say that ice can be considered part of the week, so the four parts a week. So, and the reason for that is that as the ice dilutes in the drink, you're adding the wheat to it through the water, the melted water, and it also changes the flavor profile pretty much every sip when you take it. So, give it a shake. And then we're going to pour it in there. So I like it. It comes out with maybe like a kind of a weak tea look to it, and there's more in here. The recipe is usually called for using a Collins glass. I don't have a Collins glass, so I'm gonna just use an old-fashioned glass. There's probably enough in here to fill this glass twice. So as you can see, it comes out. I don't know if you can see that. It comes out with kind of a weak tea look to it in terms of the color. I mean, you can certainly smell the alcohol in there, so it is a strong drink. There's 3 ounces of rum in there. And I'm getting the hint of the cinnamon. I really like that cinnamon. Oh, let's go back to that. So if you remember, there's the final line of the verse that said, add a pinch of spice to make it nice. That's the cinnamon in the cinnamon syrup. Other recipes, we use like nutmeg, allspice, anything that you really like, but it really should be one of those Caribbean spices to be authentic. So, and, excuse me. Oh, I mean, it's delicious. It's very light. You can really see yourself sitting out there on a hot summer's day in the Caribbean, straw hat on, drinking one of these to cool off. And you can play with it. You can do whatever you want to with it. You can add whatever spices you like. I like the cinnamon syrup. Like I said, that's the way I make it. Again, I will post on the description how to make the cinnamon syrup. But it's tasty. It's very good. It's very light. And you can play with it. You can make it your own. And I really think this is the foundation of a lot of the cocktails that followed. If you look at the profiles, particularly of Don Beach's, they all seem to follow the same profile, kind of the same flavor profile, with different spices, different juices being added. But in the end of the day, I think they're all a rum punch at heart. So if you ask me, this is kind of the ancestor of all tiki cocktails. So with that, as always, take care of you all and have a good day.